Hello, Big Show nerds. Things are a little weird, keeping things interesting. Should be able to do a proper edit. Just right now, all of my gear is in a couple of different places, so we had to kind of make do with what we had because I'm moving into a new studio. Woohoo! And then we'll probably be moving into another studio. Hopefully, if virus things happen and business plans for Black Lion endeavors happen, then there's going to be another transition, kind of, sort of, a little bit, maybe. But right now, this is what you're getting. So let's get into the news. So we're gonna stay right here and go into TV streaming. In TV streaming, we have it's a couple of things, and they're all gonna be relatively quick. So first up is Mimic. If you don't remember, this was one of the first Guillermo Del Toro movies that kind of brought him into the vocabulary. This is going to be turned into, it was in 1997 that it got turned into a movie, and now it's getting turned into a series. Probably will have nothing to do with Guillermo Del Toro directly, only just based on the movie that he directed. It is going to be Jim Danger Gray, who's a producer on Orange is the New Black, and then Paul W.S. Anderson, who is the director that brought us the original Mortal Kombat movies. So he's got and he also did the Resident Evil movies. So there's a link to the nerd community, and kind of a debatable how good of a link that is. But either way, those are the guys that are going to be in charge of this. It is going to be done for Miramax TV, and no word on who's going to be distributing it yet. So potentially one of the big streamers, Amazon, Netflix, what have you. But once we get more updates, we will be following up. Next, we're talking about Ren and Stimpy. And no, this is not the documentary, because that's a movie and we already talked about it. But this is actually Comedy Central kind of doubling or tripling down on their adult animation revivals. So this will be is getting revived on Comedy Central. No time frame just yet, but it will be joining Beavis and Butt-head and Jodie. Beavis and Butt-head we all know and love, and it is what it is. But Jodie, if you remember, we talked about this, I think it was like a year to a year and a half ago when this was officially announced. Jodie is the Daria spinoff that oh man, this could either be fantastic like Daria, or this could be a steaming train wreck. We don't know, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Ren and Stimpy revival. Probably not going to have a whole lot of associations with the original creator, as we discussed in the previous episode where we talked about the documentary about Ren and Stimpy. But hopefully we're going to be seeing some great new animation coming from Comedy Central. That's what we got there. Moving on to Who's the Boss. We are getting a sequel series to one of the shows I watched all the time as a kid, and actually introduced the world to Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano and her TV father, Tony Danza, will be returning for the show. There are talks to get the other remaining living members of the cast to also make cameos for the show, but none of that has been locked in place. It is going to surround Alyssa Milano, who lives in that childhood home. She bought it after they all moved out, or whatever the heck happened. But yeah, so Alyssa Milano is going to be the main character. It's going to be dealing with income inequalities, and I believe there was even a mention of racial inequality stuff through comedy, so that could be really freaking awesome. It is in development by Sony TV. Again, no word on where it is going to be distributed, but we will keep tabs. And then our final piece for TV streaming is A League of Their Own. Amazon has ordered A League of Their Own straight-to series. Don't know exactly how many episodes it's going to be. It's presumably going to be in the neighborhood of 8 to 12 episodes, and it is, right now, only one season. So, that is what we have for TV streaming. Now we are talking about movies. We have it's about the same for movies as TV streaming. So, jumping into it. Pinocchio, not the Guillermo Del Toro non-Disney iteration of Pinocchio, but the Disney live-action remake of Pinocchio, just signed on Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is going to be playing Gepetto for the live-action Disney remake, so that's awesome. This also kind of makes me question my previous reporting on Ewan McGregor being the voice of Jiminy Cricket. I believe I said he was going to be the Guillermo Del Toro Jiminy Cricket, but I'm now thinking, because I forgot about the Disney one, I'm thinking it's going to be the Disney one that Ewan McGregor's doing the voice for. Me questioning myself aside, Tom Hanks, man. Tom Hanks is always a win. We're moving on. Next, we're talking about Mulan, and this is the big piece for this episode, I think. Mulan is going straight to video on demand, but it's a very unique situation that it is going to video on demand for. So, normally, when a movie goes to video on demand, there are a couple of things that are not applicable this time. First, a video-on-demand movie usually gets released to multiple platforms, like a movie going into theaters. It goes into multiple theaters. Streaming being what it is, that kind of changes that a little bit, but still, the comparison everybody keeps making is the Trolls World Tour. Trolls World Tour was released on no less than 3 different streaming platforms, so you could pay your $20 and watch Trolls on whatever your platform of choice was. And that brings us to the other point. $20 seems to be the going rate for a video-on-demand movie. Now, how does Mulan differ from that? Well, we already know it's a Disney movie, so it's going to Disney Plus, and Disney Plus alone. Then, on top of that, it is also going to be $30 to watch this. And that's $30 on top of your already $7 a month for the Disney Plus app. So presumably approximately $37. Now, if you think about this logically, it is still comparable to what you would spend at a theater if you were going at, even as a couple. If 2 people are going to see a movie, it is reasonable to expect that you're going to pay at least $22 to $25 just for your movie tickets. Then, on top of that, if you want to support the theater, you're going to get some soft drinks and candy and whatnot, and that's going to put you right up to about $35 because, movie theater food. So, like, if even as a couple, you could kind of justify this, but if you have kids and you also already have Disney Plus, then this is not even going to be, you're not even going to blink when you pay that $30. And this also differs in the traditional VOD model in that, first day with new lips. This differs from VOD traditionally in that it's not a rental fee. Once you have paid the $30 for Mulan, the live-action Mulan, you have the live-action Mulan in your catalog until you cancel your subscription. So, instead of it being a 48-hour rental that you have 48 hours to watch your $20 movie, this is $30 for a digital copy of this movie for the lifetime of your account. So it kind of starts to feel a little bit better, and I totally sound like I'm like totally blowing smoke or whatever, just making Disney Plus sound so amazing. But this was like it's a little questionable in that it's $30 and it's only on Disney Plus. I feel like the better option. Here's a better option in my mind. A better option that they really theoretically could have done is release it on Disney Plus for $20, have everything else the same there, but then also release it on Amazon Prime and whatever other streamers that everybody else is releasing their movies on. For $30 there. Then you're incentivizing people to come to your platform because they get to buy it cheaper and keep it forever, ostensibly. And also, if they don't want to make that jump, you're still making an extra $10 on the transaction. So that seems to be a little more sensible for my mind, at least, but it is what it is. That is the state of things. We're moving on from Mulan! Captain Marvel 2 is the next piece. Captain Marvel 2, if you remember, we talked about they lost their directors, I guess. It is not going to be the same team that did the first movie. They just announced that we have a new director for the movie, and the new director is Nia DaCosta. It's probably Nia. Nia DaCosta is the one that has been chosen to direct Captain Marvel 2. Brie Larson, is going to be Captain Marvel, so it is what it is. It's very much remains to be seen the capabilities of this director, but a cursory glance over her socials and things show that she does at least have an appreciation for nerd culture. She is aware of a lot of the things in nerd culture and seems to be a fan of certain things in nerd culture as well. She is also directing the Candyman remake, so that has yet to be released. We don't really know. That's really, I mean, she has another movie that I haven't seen, and I honestly didn't put in the notes because A, I take good notes, and B, it didn't really seem relevant to nerd culture. So we'll see when Candyman releases where she's coming from, but also her ability as a director almost is negated by the fact that Kevin Feige is the guy in charge of all of Marvel, right? So maybe he chose a young director, because she's like 30 years old. She's younger than me. So maybe he chose a young director because of her malleability, because of her willingness to play ball, because he's a power-hungry madman, and she said, yeah, sure, I'll make a couple of $1 million sitting on this chair, even though you're calling all the shots. So all of that definitely remains to be seen. That little bit at the end is totally my conjecture. We will see when this movie launches, and as we keep tabs on it until then. But until then, we're moving on to our final piece, and that is John Wick 5. Real quick announcement. John Wick 5 is happening, and they're going to be filming it, presumably, filming it at the same time as they're filming John Wick 4. So, 2021, once Keanu Reeves becomes available because he's done with Matrix 4 and so on and so forth, they will be filming John Wick 4 and John Wick 5. Certain sources said simultaneously and other sources said back to back, meaning they film all of John Wick 4 and then John Wick 5, or they film scenes for both movies all at the same time. Okay, it's an announcement. We're gonna move on. Now let's talk about all of the rumors. And actually, there's not a whole lot of rumors for this episode. I dug real hard for this one, too, and just only came away with a few. So, first up for rumors, we have She-Hulk. There are more rumors now from more reliable sources, so this very well could be in motion. Whether or not it actually happens still remains to be seen, but very well could be in motion that they're looking to cast Alison Brie, I almost said Brie Larson, Alison Brie as She-Hulk. We're gonna go likelihood on this one. We're looking at probably, honestly, because of the source and because of the persistence of these rumors, I'm giving this about a 35 to 40% likelihood that this is actually a thing. At the very least, I wholeheartedly believe that this is actually in motion. Again, the likelihood of it coming to fruition, we're looking at about 35 to 40%. Next on the rumor mill, we're talking about a live-action adaptation of Apex Legends and or potentially Titanfall. Respawn is in the rumor mill for a live-action adaptation of their two biggest properties. This makes sense. I don't have a whole lot to base this on, other than the fact that this is the rage right now. Everybody wants to make some sort of adaptation, and especially with Pikachu and Sonic doing so well, and hopefully Mortal Kombat doing well too. With all of that going on in the video game to movie adaptation realm, only makes sense that this would be on the plate as well, because this is one of the biggest video games out right now. So yeah, sure. Likelihood for this, though, because the sources are fairly weak, not super reliable, I'm going to say probably 20 to 25%, but that's also, I would give almost any gaming to movie adaptation that same likelihood, just because of the current state of things right now. So 20 to 25% likelihood this is going to happen. Next, we're moving over to Black Adam. There have been a number of rumors associated with this. Not the least of which is Ryan Reynolds, but Ryan Reynolds has come out and said, no, I'm not going to be Hawkman in Black Adam. I've got a bunch of other stuff going on the plate, and that also confirms what we've been talking about in the rumors section about exclusivity, because Ryan Reynolds, presumably, if he is in the Snyder Cut, is because it is a pre-existing contract to play that character for DC. If they were to cast him as another DC character, that would be violating his exclusivity contract that he presumably has with Disney, so therefore he's only going to be making Disney movies in the near future. But that's not what this rumor is all about. This rumor says that Michael B. Jordan is the one that they're looking at to play Hawkman. Sure, I don't see why not. I don't know that on the top of my brain there's not another character that Michael B. Jordan has played in the DC extended universe at all, in DC movies on screen ever. So that's kind of got it going towards it, but the source is not super reliable, so that kind of goes against it. Michael B. Jordan is huge right now. Everybody wants Michael B. Jordan in their movie. Well, in the rumors at least, and he's also rumored to be looked at for the next Superman. So there's a lot of crazy going on around the name Michael B. Jordan these days. Theoretically, he is not in contract anymore to play Killmonger for Disney, so he is likely open for this and probably would be totally down for it, and honestly would not be a bad Hawkman, assuming they can get the Hawk Girl casting right accordingly. So yeah, I'm giving this one about the same, quarter to a third. We're looking at about 25 to 30% likelihood on this one. And then we're talking about Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 11, the newest rumored, and we're going to kill this real quick. So the newest rumored DLC character for Mortal Kombat 11 is Deathstroke. And no, I'm giving this 0% likelihood. And my reasoning for this, we've already gone over this a little bit when Harley was rumored for the game, and that is because DC characters they're not doing a bunch of those crossovers. In the first Injustice game, there was one Mortal Kombat crossover again, and then in the second Injustice game, there were two Mortal Kombat crossovers, and this is our first Mortal Kombat game with an Injustice crossover, so we're not likely to see another one, presumably until at least Mortal Kombat 12. So that being said, the other thing that started this rumor that is baseless is because there was, in the DC Fandom teaser, we got a little bit of a Mortal Kombat clip, a quick little snippet in there, meaning that there's going to be some sort of WB gaming stuff in this Fandom experience, but that doesn't mean there's going to be crossover stuff here. That's jumping to conclusions, as they say. So yeah, totally not going to happen. That's what we've got there. Moving on next to Mandalorian Season 2, and this is our final rumor for the episode. The rumor about this is that we're going to be seeing the trailer for Season 2 as part of the NBA playoffs round 1, which I believe is very soon. I don't keep very close tabs on sports to begin with, and then add the virus on top of everything, and I don't really know what's going on at all. So, this does make sense though, because Disney gave us Star Wars stuff with the NFL because those happen at approximately the same time, so it would only make sense that they would do another sporting thing to try and bring in a different audience, because we are going to watch Mandalorian Season 2. The established target demographic, the nerds, whatever you want to call us, we're all on board. This is already a thing. They don't have to market to us. They don't have to put out a teaser at all, and we're still going to watch it. This teaser is for people who might not watch it otherwise. So yeah, totally. I honestly think we're going to break this down into two pieces, because I think the timing might be wrong, but I think the sport might be correct. So first round NBA playoffs, we'll say about 30% there. But will it happen in association with some sort of NBA thing? Absolutely. I'm honestly going 70% likelihood that this is going to be tied in, that we're going to see our first taste of Season 2 in association with some sort of NBA something. And that's what we got for the rumors! And that does it for this episode of Headlines Nerds. For a more in-depth conversation on these nerdy bits, plus much more nerd action and the entire news show, then you can join me over on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy. While you're here, though, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all of the Big Show Entertainment Media platforms, especially the YouTube. We're still doing the drive to 1,000. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are giving away a PlayStation gaming console. So check out all of the things. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining me, and tune in next time for all that's happening across the nerd world, hopefully in the new studio.